Hi, I'm Jennifer, and this weekend we not only got to go camping, but we got to go camping with my parents and their brand new 2024 Apex Nano 194BHS. And they gave me permission to share some footage of their trailer with you guys. So I wanted to go through and give my first impressions of this brand new Apex Nano 194BHS. Now, we own a J-Feather Micro 171BH trailer, and this Apex Nano is a very similar floor plan to ours. They both have single bunks, they both have a bed up front and a dinette, and they're just laid out very similar. Now, the Apex Nano is a little bit longer than our trailer, and then it does have a slide. So other than that, size-wise and floor plan-wise, it's very similar. When I first walked into the Apex Nano, I was very impressed with how large the space felt and how bright everything was. The Apex Nano has a ton of windows in it, and it has really nice natural lighting. So not only does it feel bigger because of the slide, but all of the natural light I feel like also really does a lot to make it feel larger. So looking around the trailer, the windows are really impressive. I absolutely love that there's a front windshield so you can see out the front of the trailer. On the side of the bed, there's two windows. Over the kitchen sink, there is a very large window, and that's right on the campsite, which is fantastic. And then the dinette has a window as well. So you have great visibility from all sides other than the back of the trailer. Another thing that I loved about the Apex Nano and really surprised me was it has really awesome storage. So in the kitchen, there is a full pantry. And then in the bathroom, there is a full wardrobe. So you have two full-length storage areas. And the top of the wardrobe has a hanging rack. It's just awesome to have so much storage space in a small camper. And speaking of the bathroom, there is more in the bathroom that is awesome than just this wardrobe. This bathroom has a great layout. There is a sink in the bathroom, which is surprisingly hard to find in a bunkhouse this size. There's also a tub, nice shower, good storage, and some counter space. So it really has everything that you would be looking for in a bathroom. And then I did kind of mention this in the beginning, but the Apex Nano does also have a slide, and it is a pretty large slide. So when that slide is out, the front area really feels large. My children were very impressed by this. Coming from our trailer that doesn't have a slide, they could not believe how much space there was. And another thing that I noticed that was interesting is the slide gives so much space that if you needed to put something like a porta-crib in that area, you'd be able to do it and still walk around, which is not an option in a trailer like we have without a slide. Now, of course, if you've seen any of my trailer comparison videos, then you know I'm pretty hesitant about slides. I'm very nervous because it's one more thing that could go wrong and one more thing to maintain. When we were at the dealership getting the trailer, we did request that they showed us where the manual override is for the slide in case there is any kind of issue and we need to manually bring it in. We did find out that the manual override is in the compartment underneath the wardrobe in the bathroom. So, hopefully, there will be no issues with the slide. If there is, at least we're slightly prepared by knowing where the manual override is. And in the meantime, it sure adds a ton of space inside the trailer. Another thing that I noticed about the Apex Nano that is really awesome is the pass-through storage is great. The front pass-through storage gives you a ton of space, and in addition to that, the doors to access it are large too. So sometimes you have good storage, but it's hard to get things in and out. This has large doors and large storage. The one downside about the baggage doors is the locks on them were almost impossible to use. They were thinking that they would need to be completely replaced, but they were able to actually just put some WD-40 in the locks, and now they seem to be working good. So it's great that fixed it, and if that's the worst of the issues, I'd say that's pretty good. Now, when we were researching this model before my parents bought it, I found it kind of hard to find good video footage of the 2024 models, so I did want to just quickly show you some of the changes in the 2024 models, just in case you as well have mostly seen the 23s and 22s. So the first change I noticed is now there's no carpet under the dinette. So the dinette that's on the slide, before it had carpet there, and now it has the same flooring as the rest of the trailer, and I think that's super nice. The other change is in the kitchen area, so underneath the sink and the stove, they've added a few drawers. In the earlier models, there were no drawers there, just cabinets, and so I think it's really nice that there are a couple of drawers now. And then another change is they've changed how the stereo works. So in earlier models, there was actually a stereo system built into the trailer, and now there's just a removable speaker. And I actually think this is a nice change because those built-in systems are sometimes really difficult to figure out how they work, and so this is simpler and it gets the job done. Plus it has a couple of USBs built in up there, so that's nice too. And then the last change that I noticed from the earlier models is in the outdoor kitchen. Now it has a Suburban flat top griddle that comes with it, whereas before it was a stove. And I think this is an awesome change because we always use our Blackstone. I really like cooking on the griddle out there, and you already have a stove inside. So I think it's great that now you have a griddle in the outdoor kitchen. That's another thing that I really liked about this trailer was just the fact that there is an outdoor kitchen, which I think is really awesome. Okay, so those were my first impressions of the Apex Nano 194BHS. I thought it felt really large inside. I loved all of the windows. They did awesome with that. It has good storage. I really liked it. I think it seems like an awesome trailer. But now, the obvious next question is, how does it compare with our trailer? How is the Apex Nano versus the J-Feather Micro? And I am going to go over all of those details and compare our two trailers in the next video. So if you're interested in seeing the details, like how their dinette table compares to our dinette table with no slide, I will go over all of that in the next video. So if you're interested in checking that out, please subscribe. Thanks and happy camping.